Happy Friday. Thank you so much for being here with me for Pilates Matwork. We've got 55 minutes of flow style class. We are going to start in standing on our mats, barefoot if you're comfortable in that attire. If you want to wear shoes, you are certainly more than welcome to do so. Grab a cushion or some extra padding, like a rolled up towel or a pillow for your knees when we're on hands and knees. Otherwise, the only equipment you really need is your body and willingness to move. Let's make sure we move at a pace that makes sense for our own individual bodies at this particular moment in time, and let's get ourselves moving. All right, meet me up on that mat. We'll stand nice and tall in the center of our mat with our feet hip width apart. All right, so outer borders of our feet are going to be lined up with the outer borders of our hips. We're going to stretch our fingertips down the sides of our thighs. And let's settle into our feet. We can spread the toes away from each other, feel a little stretch through the arch of the foot, maybe even through the top of the foot. Let's soften our knees and send our tailbone down toward the floor. We're going to also think about sending the crown of the head up to the ceiling as that tailbone drops down, as if there's a little string pulling us upward and a little plumb line dropping us down. Shrug and release your shoulders, feeling those shoulder blades slide up and down along that chest wall. Inhale as we shrug and exhale as we drop those fingertips down. Inhale and shrug, exhale and release. And as we draw those shoulder blades down the back of the body and those fingertips creep toward the outer border of our knee joints, we're going to feel a little activity under our armpits. Let's keep our fingertips reaching down toward the floor as we tip our head gently from side to side, lengthening out the side of the neck that we're moving away from, and lengthening out the top of the shoulder on the side we're moving our head away from. Let's bring our head up nice and tall, get it set on straight again, and breathe the arms up and overhead. As we reach our fingertips up, we're again going to think about letting those shoulder blades release down the sides of the body. If you need to bend your elbows a little bit for a little slack along those sides, that's okay. As we stand here now, we're going to widen up our basic support. Bring those feet out in line with our shoulders or maybe a touch wider. Press the hands together. Let's hold those hands pressed. They're going to be a little bit forward of the head. Maybe the elbows are grazing the side of our eyes or the sides of our eyebrows here. Let's sway our bodies side to side, just a touch, pressing the hands toward each other. Again, elbows bent if we need a little more slack in the system. And we're going to feel our sides lengthen out. We're going to feel our armpits start to lengthen out. Let's pop ourselves up nice and tall. Clasp the hands now. Flip the palms to face the ceiling. And again, let's see if we can straighten our elbows out a bit or maybe even all the way. And as the palms reach up, again, we'll let the shoulder blades slide a little farther down the back. And this time we're going to take another side sway to each side, maybe a little bit farther this time. Reach the trunk up and off of the pelvis, lengthening up toward the top of those side walls. As we continue to sway side to side, let's press our weight into the foot on the side we're returning from to help drive that body upward a little bit more. Let's breathe everything up to the ceiling. We'll open the arms out to T. Hands are shoulder height. Bend the elbows if we need a little bit less leverage. And we're going to let the shoulders drop down away from the ears as we roll those fingertips in circles on our side walls. We're going to picture spinning the shoulders in their sockets as we trace those circles on our side walls. Circle 4, 3, 2, and 1, and let's reverse it. Reach those fingertips away from center, reach those collarbones away from the center of the body. Let's quiet down those arms, and then bring the backs of the hands gently toward the wall behind. As we approach trunk level with our hands, we're going to start to feel some opening underneath our collarbones, across the chest and the breastbone. Maybe we can squeeze our blades and pulse into a little bit bigger opening through the front of the body. Pulse 4, 3, 2, and 1, and we'll windmill our arms down by our sides. All right, give those shoulders a shake. Let's turn and look side to side. Let's first make sure we can see our side walls, and then maybe we can turn a little bit further and see that wall behind us. Coming back to center, shake the legs out. We're going to bring our fingertips to the front of the waistline, the thumbs to the back of the waistline, and let's press our index and middle finger right toward our thumbs. As we do so, bring the belly and spine toward each other, and we're going to feel those muscles tighten underneath our fingertips. We'll now step our feet a little closer together. Heels are lined up with our sit bones. Toes are pointed forward. We're going to shift our weight over the front of our ankle joints here. Lift your toes and feel those arches lift as well. Spread the toes apart, just like we did at the beginning. We're again going to get that little stretch across the top of the foot and across those arches. Now let's look at our toes and bring them down to the mat one at a time. Lift, spread, and the pinky toe comes down first. Then we bring each toe sequentially to the mat until our big toe touches. Lift and spread and touch those toes down. One more time, lift them up, spread the toes apart, Tap them down to the floor, and as we press our big toes into the mat, we'll soften up our knees and shift the weight forward toward the toes and backward toward the heels. Feel free at first to let your toes come up, let your heels come up, depending on where you are in that range. And then we're going to shorten our movement range here. We're going to come forward toward the toes and back toward the heels, but move within a range where we can keep our heels on the floor as we come forward, and we can keep our toes on the floor as we come back. We're going to feel that trunk kick into action to help pull us back toward that middle ground once we hit our end ranges. No matter what we do, those midsections are working a little bit for us as long as we're staying upright, nice and tall with the body moving as one unit around those ankle joints. Coming back to center with the weight over our ankles, we're going to push our weight from side to side now. Again, moving as one unit from the ankle all the way up. No breaks in the hips, no breaks in those knees, no breaks in those shoulders in terms of what's moving and what's staying nice and still. As we tip side to side, or to shift our weight side to side rather, we're going to feel our side muscles kicking into our hands. And then if we take that body and move from our ankle joints in a circular fashion, again, we're going to feel that core kick in. We'll feel the muscles kick in a little bit of a cyclic manner, feeling differences in muscle activation as we hit different points in our range. Pause wherever you are, and then let's switch and circle to the other way. Keep reaching the crown of the head up toward the ceiling. We'll complete one more circle with the weight over the balls of our feet. As we come toward our toes, we're spreading the toes apart again, and we're going to hover our heels just a little bit off the floor. Let's raise up a little higher, shifting that weight a little bit closer to the toes. And feel the backs of the calves kick in, feel those even hamstrings and glutes kick in a little bit. And we'll feel those muscles tense a touch underneath our fingertips as our upper abdominals and middle abdominals start to try to keep us nice and steady over that smaller base of support over our toes. Let's raise up and down, even if it's just a fraction of an inch, moving those heels toward the ceiling and toward the floor. Again, we're going to feel the soles of the feet, the calves, the whole back of those legs kick in. Lift and lower, and as our heels come down, we'll shift the weight back over the middle of the foot again and shake those legs out. Take the wrists away from the waistline, shake the hands out, and we'll again give our shoulders a couple of shrugs before we get ready to make our way down to the floor. If you do have extra padding that you'd like for your knees, go ahead and grab it now. Place it in the center of your mat, and we'll turn lengthwise on that mat. With the feet, again, shoulder width apart, we're going to have that cushion about 1 foot to 1.5 feet in front of our toes so that our knees will land on it when we make our way down to the mat. Let's take the pinky sides of our hands right to the fold in our hips. We'll soften up our knees a bit, take the tailbone back, and send the crown of the head toward the wall in front of you. We're going to shoot for getting our trunk, the back of our trunk, parallel to the floor. Bend the knees as much as you need to do so to get there, with the effort in the backs of the thighs and those rear ends, without strain in the back. Okay, we're going to reach our fingertips toward the floor. Let's activate those shoulder blade muscles. Squeeze them together as we take our elbows and tuck them right in above trunk level. Release toward the floor. Squeeze and release. We're moving through a rowing position several more times using our body weight, our arm weight for a little bit of resistance against those muscles. Press the elbows straight, taking the fingertips toward the wall behind us. Press and press. Here's 3 and 2 and 1. Let's bring our arms down toward the mat. Bend the knees just enough till we can get our hands on the floor, and we'll walk those hands forward, letting our knees come down right onto whatever padding we need for them, whether it's simply our mat or whether we have something else resting under those knees. We're going to keep our toes turned under and pressed into the floor, so the big toe and the pinky toe are both getting a little bit of stretch to the undersides of them. Shift a little bit side to side. Coming back right to center, we're going to draw the belly to the spine. Feel those seatbelt muscles engaging right between the lowest ribs and the top of the pelvis. And we're going to send the belly to the ceiling. Curl the pelvis under, looking toward the thighs for cat. Take it the other direction. Tailbone up toward the ceiling and the breastbone forward for cow. Let's curl through cat. Lengthen and reverse through to cow. Coming right back to center, we'll give our tail a little side-to-side wag, keeping the shoulders nice and still. Okay, coming back to center, let's go ahead and turn the tops of the feet under, and then we're going to tap our toes from one side of the mat to the other, rotating through those hips. Tap and tap. Coming back to center, let's cross one ankle over the other one, rotating those hips the other direction. Tap and tap. Coming right back to center, Let's squeeze our shoulder blades behind the back. Let the shoulder blades slide and wrap around those rib cage muscles. Hold it there. We'll feel a little stretch through the front of the body, just under those collarbones. Wrap the shoulder blades forward toward the floor, widening the space between the shoulder blades behind the body. Squeeze together, press apart. One more time, squeeze together and press apart, keeping those blades wide and away from each other behind the body. We'll take our toes together, bring our knees apart, and press the bottom back toward the heels. Let's do a little forward and back rock here, easing our hips and our knees into that amount of bend. We'll press the bottom to the heels, and let's lower our forearms down, letting the elbows rest on the floor here. Slide the elbows back till they're resting just against the inward portion of our knee joint lines, and we're going to rock our body side to side, easing into a little bit of lengthening through the upper portion of our inner thighs. Coming back to center, slide or walk the hands toward the head of the mat. Find the first point of resistance or stretch through the underarm muscles. We're going to pause there for a big breath in. And as we breathe out, maybe we can slide or inch those hands a little bit closer to the head of the mat. Lower the forehead. If it reaches the floor with a stretch, but without a strain or a feeling like we're really fighting ourselves, go ahead and feel free to rest your head on the mat. If you do need more support, bring your hands a little closer together and let your forehead rest between the arms. Wherever we are here, we're going to take a big breath in and feel the back of the rib cage open up. Feel those underarm muscles lengthen out, and let's breathe out. Bend the elbows, shift the weight over the forearms, and if you do have something underneath your knees, we're going to take it off to the side of the mat for use again in a little while when we get back to hands and knees. Let's slide our legs out behind the body. We're going to rest on our upper thighs and press the hands into the mat as we send our breastbone toward the wall in front of us. Drop those shoulders away from the ears and nod the chin toward the neck, lengthening out from the neck to the back of the head. Draw the belly and spine toward each other. Feel those muscles engaging right at the midsection. Again, we're going to squeeze our blades together just like we did on all fours, letting the breastbone draw toward the floor, and then press through the breastbone, allowing that upper body to extend and to feel the muscles in the underarm area start to work again. Squeeze the blades together, press them away. Squeeze and press and squeeze and press and hold. Hold 4, hold 3, hold 2, and hold 1. Let's go ahead and turn our bodies to face the screen. We'll tuck our far arm all the way underneath and turn over to our backs with the hands resting by our sides, our knees bent, and our ankles and knees together. Once we're resting on the mat on our backs, we're going to feel the back of our head, our middle back between our shoulder blades, and the sacrum, the part of the low back and pelvis right below the belt line, pressing gently into the floor. We'll feel our neck has lifted up a little bit, and that low back may have a little bit of a curve in a little area that's not pressing into the floor. That is completely fine here. We're going to flip our palms over to face the ceiling, spin the backs of the thumbs to the floor, and feel that chest open up just a little bit further. Maybe we feel a little bit of a stretch through the chest as we lower our shoulders and the shoulder blades down to the mat. Let's give the chin a little nod, and then turn the head. Look over the shoulder toward the screen, feeling the far side of the body open up. Look to the ceiling again, and let's turn the head to look toward our far wall. So we feel the side of the chest and front of the shoulder on the side closest to the screen, lengthening out. Again, we'll turn that head from side to side. Let's look right back up to the ceiling. Big breath in, and exhale, belly to spine. Again, feel that seatbelt muscle engage right below the waistline. We're going to rock our knees toward our screen in a way, allowing the hip to come up on the side we're moving our legs away from. See if you can keep your shoulder blades down. We're going to feel that rib cage open up. We're going to feel a little stretch through the lower back and then the upper part of our chest. Coming right back to center, we're going to heel toe our feet away from each other till our heels are level with our sit bones. So there's a little space between our hips, a little space between our knees, and a little space between those feet. Let's hold here, take a big breath in, and exhaling, we're going to picture that clock face on our midsection. Curl the pubic bone toward the breastbone, flattening the low back, moving to a 12 o'clock pelvic position. Lengthen the other way, tailbone toward the heels, moving away from that breastbone, there's 6. Curl to 12, and move it to 6. Keep the head and neck as still as we can, and we're going to do our best to keep our shoulders down. The stiffer our upper back is, the more we're going to try to, we're going to notice if we try to keep that upper back still, we may have less motion through the pelvis. That's okay. Coming back to center, let's go ahead and picture that side to side motion, 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. We're going to rock our far hip up off the mat as we press the hip closest to the screen down into the floor. We'll roll through center and then lift the screen side hip up. pressing the opposite side into the floor. Here's 3 o'clock. Roll through neutral and over to 9 o'clock. Rock it to 3, lifting that hip. Roll it over to 9, lifting the other hip. One more time, rock to 3, roll to 9, and we'll come right back to neutral. Take a big breath in. As we breathe out, we stay neutral and reset belly to spine, floating our arms to the ceiling. As we drop the chin again down toward the neck and lower our shoulder blades toward our hips, we're going to bring one knee up to 90 degrees and the other knee up to meet in tabletop. Pressing the hands and thighs toward each other now, right up by the kneecaps with those hands. We're going to start to feel our trunk engage a little bit further. We'll feel the entire front of the body working. Lowest ribs down toward pubic bone. Press, take a big breath in. Exhale, maintaining that pressure from hands and thighs toward each other. Let's lift and lower our toes to the ceiling and then back to tabletop, straightening and bending the knees through whatever range we have available where we can keep that trunk and pelvis nice and still. The same things touch the floor with bent knees as touch the floor with straighter knees. Inhale, lift, and exhale, bend to 90 degrees. We're going to pull our far knee into the chest, lengthen the opposite leg toward the wall. We're going to slide it down the wall, lengthening our toes forward as we pull that bent knee a little closer to the body. We're going to pause with that knee nice and straight with the foot covered a couple inches off the mat, and let's take that hovered leg side to side. Try to keep the pelvis and trunk as still as you can as we draw a horizontal line on the wall in front of us with our moving leg. Side to side, keep reaching those toes forward, and then we're going to draw some circles on the wall in front of us. Circle 3, here's 2, here's 1, breathe in, and then exhaling, we'll circle the other direction. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower that leg to the mat, and let's pull our bent knee across the body, opening up through the side of the hip. Feel free to wiggle a little closer to the screen with that bent knee and feel that hip come up off the mat. Coming back to middle, take a breath. Exhale, switch sides, pull the other knee in. We're going to lengthen that far leg forward, and keeping the core engaged, we'll lower down, stretching that foot to the wall, and finding our heel in a hovered position again. Keeping that hovered leg nice and straight, take it side to side, moving from the hip joint while we keep the pelvis and trunk as still as we can. Side to side for 2. And 1, circle the wall in front with those feet, moving from the hip joint. There's 3, here's 2, and here's 1. Let's circle the other way. There's 4, here's 3, 2, and 1. We lower our hovered leg to the mat, draw that bent knee across the body with the other hand on the floor, and feel free to wiggle up, let that hip come off the mat if we want to get a little bit deeper stretch into the outside of the hip and toward the buttock, toward that sacrum. Excellent. Pulling right back to center, hang on behind the lifted thigh. Kick the thigh into the hands, hold it there. And let's lift those toes up to the ceiling and then bend them right back up. Lift and bend. Lift and bend. One more time, lift those toes toward the ceiling and we'll flex and point for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Hold it there. Big breath in. As we exhale, reset belly to spine, take the hands down to the mat. Press the whole backs of the arms into the floor and feel those collarbones open up again. We're going to take our lifted legs side to side, arc out toward the screen and over toward the far wall. Feel free to bend your knee if you need a little more slack in the system so that hip can move freely with the trunk and pelvis staying nice and still. Side to side. One more time. Breathe away from center. Breathe up and over, and let's take some circles on the ceiling for 4. Circle 3. Here's 2. And 1. Let's breathe in at the top, and then exhaling, we'll take it the other way. Circle 4. 3. 2. And 1. Hang on behind that thigh. Kick the thigh into the hands. We'll hover our supporting leg up off the mat. Flex and point the toes. And then keeping the lifted leg right where it is, we reset belly to spine, draw the opposite leg up, and lengthen it out and forward down to that hovered position. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower to hover. Last 2. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower to hover. And inhale, lift. Exhale, lower to hover. Draw that stretching side into the chest, bend that knee, and we'll switch sides, pulling and pressing, lowering that leg down to the floor. Roll the shoulders back and down. Hang on behind the lifted thigh and kick that thigh into the hands. Let's wiggle into that Back of the thigh, finding the range. Straighten and bend. Straighten and hold. It's okay if that leg's a little bit bent. We're going to wiggle through our ankle, flexing and pointing for 3, for 2, and for 1. We'll drop the belly down toward the spine, hold it there, and we take our hands down to the mat. Keeping the pelvis facing the ceiling, we'll take our lifted leg from side to side. Here's 4. There's 3, 2, and 1. And let's circle the ceiling. 4, 3. Again, don't be afraid to bend or straighten that knee a little bit more or less as we roll through. Pause at the top and breathe. Exhaling, we'll take it the other way. Sweep for 4, for 3. Here's 2, and 1. Hang on behind the lifted thigh. Kick that leg into the hands. Big breath in. Roll the shoulders down, and we exhale into another belly to spine progression. Let's hover that supporting leg up off the mat, and we'll lift it up to meet the stretching side and lower down with control to our hover. Flex and point the toes, and let's repeat. Lift, lower to hover. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower that leg, and one more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower that leg in front. We're going to keep it at hover this time. Gaze down toward the kneecaps with that chin nodded toward the neck. Switch sides, drawing the knee toward the body, keeping that leg as straight as you can now. Inhale and switch. Exhale, switch. Inhale, switch. Exhale, switch. One more to each side. Switch it up and switch. Bend both knees, hug them into the chest. Circle the ankles. They can go toward each other. They can go away from each other. And point it back to center and rock that body from side to side. Big breath in. As we exhale, we come back to the center. We guide our kneecaps back up to tabletop. Big breath in once those shins are parallel to the ceiling, and we exhale, navel to spine, taking the shoulders away from the ears and floating those arms up to the ceiling. Let's take that arm closest to the screen, back toward the wall behind us, and our far leg forward. Stretch it toward the wall in front. Keeping the trunk as still as we can. Switch legs, switch arms. Switch them up. If we need a little less pressure on the lower back and the trunk, reach that extended leg a little bit closer to the top of the wall in front of us. We want a little more leverage, a little more work. Lower that leg down toward a hovered position. Switch them up for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. We'll come right back to tabletop, arms to the ceiling. Flex up the feet and lower that belly to the spine again. We'll lower and lift one heel at a time to the floor before lifting it back up to tabletop. Repeat. Lower and lift. If we want to make it more challenging, lower both heels and bring them both back up to tabletop. Exhale and lower. Inhale and lift. If we want to add a little more leverage, take those arms back as the heel comes forward and bring everything back to center. Exhale, open up. Inhale to the ceiling. Exhale. Inhale to tabletop, point the toes, draw those legs to the ceiling, take a big breath in. Belly to spine on the exhale, open the feet to the side walls, lengthening out through the inner thighs. Breathe everything back to center and breathe out, opening those feet. Inhale to center, exhale to V. Inhale to center, hold. Then we're going to lower our blades. We drop that belly a little closer to the spine, and let's rock those legs from side to side. We'll feel the bones in the back of the pelvis move and rock as we move those feet. We'll feel one side lift up off the mat as our feet go to the other side. Let's make some circles, one direction, both legs moving together. Keep the head and neck as still as we can. Keep that trunk as still as we can. And we pause at the top, taking a breath. As we breathe out, circle the other way. Last 2. Last 1. Flex the feet, turn those toes apart, heels together. Breathe into frog, heels toward the body. Breathing out, we keep our core active. We press the knees together as the heels come to the wall in front of us. Inhale to frog and exhale, press forward. Inhale to frog, exhale, press. One more time, inhale to frog and exhale, press. Turn those feet together, hug everything into the chest, and we rock that body from side to side. Take a big breath in and take a big breath out. Take it back to center, give the shoulders a roll back and down. Let's turn our head to look to the screen. Let's turn our head to look to the far wall. We'll come right back to center and lower those feet down till our heels are again lined up with our bottom. Moving the arms down by our side. Let's get ready for bridges. We're going to widen our collarbones. Let the backs of the shoulders press toward the floor. We'll inch our heels a little closer to the bottom. We don't quite want to be able to touch our heels, but we want our fingertips getting within a couple inches of them. Let's squeeze our glutes. Press through the floor with those heels and lift the hips up until we just start to feel a little length through the front of our thighs. Keep the belly and spine drawn toward each other here. And maybe we could lift up a little higher. I want you to feel your glutes engaging, little hamstrings, length through the quads. If you start to feel your low back, come down a little further. We're going to hold at the top of our motion and wiggle one hip up and down, and then the other. We're noticing that we're pressing firmly through the foot on the side that's staying lifted. Feel the whole back side of that lower quarter engaging. Lift the hips to the ceiling, take a breath, and breathing out, we'll bridge back down. Release at the bottom, breathing in. Exhale, squeeze and lift those hips. Hold them up at the tops. Hips stay stationary now. We're going to bring our knees out to each side one at a time. From side to side. Here's 4 and 3, 2 and 1. Big breath in center and exhale, lower down. Release the glutes at the bottom and rock those knees toward the screen and toward the far wall. Again, rock toward the screen. Take a couple of breaths here as we release that lower back and those hips. Come back to the center, breathing in, and exhale. Squeeze those glutes, press through the hips and lift back up to bridge. Keep the hips lifted, and let's take it up and down on our toes. Heels come up and down. We're going to do our best to keep our hips nice and still. So as the heels come down, we get a little bit of a backward motion, a little bit of hip extension. Hips come forward, heels come down. Lower down, take a big breath in, and exhale, lower the body. Again, we release at the bottom and rock those knees toward the screen and toward the far wall. One more time, rock toward the screen. One more time, we rock away. And we come right back to center, big breath in. Exhale, belly to spine. Press through the heels, squeeze the glutes. Let's take it up to bridge one final time. Pressing the hands into the floor for a little trunk assist. We'll move to a march, taking one knee up and down as we keep the opposite side of the body nice and still. As we lift a knee, our opposite heel presses firmly into the floor. Lift and lower. Here's 4 and 3. Last 2 and 1. Press that foot into the mat, squeeze and lift the hips up, take a big breath. Breathing out, we lower that body. Release everything at the bottom, give the knees a rock to each side, and come back up to center. We'll cross our ankle closest to the screen over that far knee. Give that crossed over knee a chance to ease out into the side position. Find the first point of resistance. We're going to leave that leg there. We're not forcing it anywhere. If you have a little more slack and can lift up without the shoulders and head going along for the ride, go ahead and lift that opposite foot up off the floor. Whether that foot is lifted or on the mat, rock away from and then toward that crossed over side. Ease into just a little bit of change of position, change of focus of that stretch. Breathing back to center, we'll unwind, and then our opposite ankle comes to our knee. Again, let that knee float out to the side. And if we have slack, lift up. Appreciate the fact that we might have two very different sides. We don't need to force anything. We're going to rock side to side, whether that hip is lifted or whether that foot is on the mat. What we're shooting for is a little bit of an opening through the side of our hip. Breathe back to center, unwind, grab those knees, draw them into the chest, and release the muscles in the front of the hips. Take a big breath, and on that exhale, we're going to bring our feet down, turn toward our screen, and find your extra padding. Place it on the mat as needed, and we'll bring our knees to it as we bring ourselves back up to our all fours position. With wrists and shoulders, knees and hips lined up, we'll curl through 2 cats, reversing into 2 cows, and then we'll move on. Curl it up, lengthen it out. Take it back to center. Let's take our hand closest to the screen, right up to the same side thigh. Shoulders are squared off, and let's squeeze our opposite shoulder blade in toward the spine and then press it forward toward the floor. Squeeze it back. press it forward, squeeze and press. One more time, squeeze and press. Switch arms. Take the other hand down underneath the shoulder. Other hand comes up, press it into the thigh, squeeze and press, squeeze and press, squeeze and press. One more time, squeeze back, press toward the floor, hand comes down to the floor, wag that tail, take it side to side. Coming back to center, we're gonna lengthen our leg closest to the screen back, arc it out to the side, and then press that foot toward the mat. We're gonna think about taking that inner thigh on the straight leg side, lengthen it down to the floor. Press your foot firmly into the mat and feel that inner thigh open up. We can hold here, or if we have a little more give in the back of our thigh, we can lengthen back and forth. Take that hip and bottom back toward the heels and then come right back up over the knee. As we rock, we'll feel that stretch move a little bit through the side of the thigh, the back of the thigh, and that outstretched leg. As we come forward to our hands again, we're going to lengthen that leg back, draw it into center, take a big breath. Repeat on the other side, lengthen the leg back, arc it toward the side wall. Let's press it into the mat, lowering that inner thigh toward the floor on the straight leg side. Take a breath here. As we breathe out, we can assess the amount of slack we have remaining and think about rocking. Maybe that hip goes back just an inch or so and forward just an inch or so, or maybe it comes back all the way to the heel. One more time, rock back. Rock it up tall. We'll keep our wrists and shoulders lined up as we take that leg back behind the body. Squeeze your glute, lift up toward trunk level. Hold here, raise the opposite arm out in front, stretching the fingers and toes away from each other. Hold 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch arms, switch legs. Lengthen and reach, arm comes forward. Hold 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch it up again. Lengthen and reach, hold 4, 3, 2, and 1. Last time. Lengthen and reach. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take the hand down. Flex your back foot. Take the toes to the floor. Big breath in. Belly to spine on the exhale. Press through the foot. Bring the opposite foot to meet that leg in plank. Shift that weight from side to side. Press the floor away with the hands. Keep the hips open. Let's lower our knees to the mat and continue to shift our weight side to side. Coming back to center, we're going to walk our knees and our feet away from each other a little further. Keep the hips open toward the floor and reset belly to spine. Take the bottom back just a touch and we're going to move into shoulder taps. If it's too much to have those knees far behind the hips, we can always walk ourselves back and keep the hips lined up with the knees. See if you can shoot for that slightly open plank on the knees position. Tap 3, tap 2, and tap 1. Hands come down, walk the knees forward a touch. We'll take our toes together, bring the knees apart again, and rock the bottom back to the heels. Drop to the forearm, give those wrists a shake. And then slide the hands forward. We're going to lengthen them, inch them forward toward the head of the mat, and then lower the forehead down toward child's pose. Maybe our forehead touches the mat. Maybe our hands are a little closer and we're resting our forehead on those arms. Take a big breath into the back side of the body, and as we exhale, we'll walk the hands toward our screen. Pause here, taking a big breath. And then as we breathe out, we'll walk all the way over to the other side. Pause here again, big breath in. Breathing out, we'll walk our hands forward. Drop the forearms. Shift the weight over them again. Take any extra padding you have under the knees away. We're done with it for today. And we're going to lower down onto our upper thighs. Just like in the beginning, our breastbone comes up and forward. We press through our hands. And now we draw the belly and spine toward each other. Let's kick one foot at a time toward our bottom. We can go quickly with a couple of kicks. Or if you feel like that makes it tough to keep it out of your back, feel free to slow it down. Bend one knee, lengthen it out, and repeat. Can we do 2 feet at the same time? Heels toward the bottom. Draw them back out straight. One more time, heels to the bottom. Draw them back out straight. Let's go ahead and turn to our side. We'll bend our knees, come up nice and tall to a sitting position with our weight over the very front of our sit bones. We're going to take our heels to the outer edges of the mat. And let's line ourselves up over the pelvis. Okay, there's our starters. Knees start bent. We're going to lengthen out through the backs of the thighs. Straighten the knees as much as we can, keeping our trunk and pelvis aligned in the same way. So if you feel like you're starting to slouch backwards, that tells me it's probably time to Keep those knees at whatever bend lets you keep that trunk up nice and still. We're gonna open our arms forward, lifting the hands up to shoulder level with the palms facing in on each other. Take a big breath in and breathing out, draw the belly and spine toward each other. Hinge forward from your hips, lengthen the fingertips to the wall in front and feel that stretch through the backs of the thighs. As we breathe in, we'll come up tall and then we breathe out, hinge it forward. Inhale up tall, exhale hinge. One more time, inhale up tall, exhale hinge forward. Let's go ahead and move through a little row. We're gonna keep our forward hinge as we squeeze those blades back behind the body. Our breastbone stays facing the wall in front of us. Row for 3 and reach. Here's 2, reach forward. Last one, reach forward. That trunk comes up nice and tall. Shake your legs out and bring the feet toward each other. Let's bend our knees. Our heels are lined up again with our sit bones. We're gonna inch that bottom forward a little bit toward our heels now. Grab onto the thighs. Lean back till we feel the core engaging a little bit. And then we're going to take our arms out on a narrow V. Hold them there. Maybe we can come up onto our tiptoes now. And let's rock our knees from side to side toward the screen and toward the far wall. We'll keep rocking them. Keep that trunk as still as we can. We can move into a can-can kick. Knees rock toward the screen. The far leg stretches out toward opposite wall. Lean and kick and lean and kick. One more time to each side. It's okay if the knee doesn't go all the way straight. We'll come back to center, grab the shins, and pull up until we can get our feet all the way on the floor. Let's press our hands to the outer thighs, press the thighs right back to the outer hands, and lengthen back. Straighten the elbows out a little bit, lengthen the body back. Let's open and close one arm at a time, opening up toward that outside wall, keeping the breastbone nice and still. Open and close. Open toward the screen, close back toward that leg, and one more time to the other side. Open, grab those shins. We're gonna pull our bodies up nice and tall, give the shoulders a roll back and down. And let's take our hands back behind the body. Let's rest our weight back to the heels of our hands. Straighten out your elbows and squeeze those blades a touch. We should be getting a little bit of a stretch through the chest now. We can take our chest up toward the front of the top of the wall in front of us rather. And if you have any more slack to take out, inch that bottom forward. Just walk it one side at a time forward toward the heels until we feel a little more stretch in the biceps, a little more stretch in the chest. Walk your heels back a little closer to the bottom. Same thing. As we send our breastbone up, we feel that chest open up. We feel our biceps lengthen out. If you have any more slack to give, feel free to unweight your bottom and move toward a reverse tabletop. You lift up however far feels comfortable to you. Hold 3, 2, and 1. We lower that bottom. Let's turn and take a seat facing our screen. We'll sit up nice and tall. Shake those wrists out. Make some roller coaster arms. Other direction. We'll take our hands down and give the shoulders a roll. Tip that head side to side. And bring the body up tall. Let's go ahead and make our way down to our side. Resting on that bottom arm, we're going to keep our knees bent and lift up our waistline from the mat. Poke your fingertips in, feel a little activity through the side muscles. We'll take our top hand to the top of our waistline and let's keep our feet together as we bring our top knee up and down. There's 4. Here's 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Lift the feet, knees stay still. 4, 3, 2. Hold them up there. Press the top knee up, feet stay still. 3, 2, and 1. Take the knees down, take the feet down, press the top hand into the mat, and let's lift and lower our knees for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Take the legs down, top knee stays bent, we straighten our bottom leg out. Lift the top knee up for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Take the knee back to hip height and lift the foot. Hydrant position. 4, and 3, and 2. Back to hip height. Press your top hand into the mat if it's been elsewhere. Stretch the top leg forward. Swing and lengthen it back. Swing it forward. Take it back. Swing. Press it back. And one more time. Swing forward. Press back. Touch the toes down. Lift them up. Lower and lift. Lower and lift. One more. Lower. Lift and hold. Pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold. Slide the bottom leg back to meet the top leg. Tighten up that bottom thigh and reach the toes up. 8, 7, 6. See if you can touch that top leg. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Top leg comes down. Bend the knees up. Whew, give your hip a pat, and let's make our way over to our other side. All right, resting on that bottom arm, we keep those knees bent. We lift our waistline up, and let's take our hand to the top of the waistline on the other side. Keeping the feet together, press the top knee up for 4. Lift 3. Lift 2. Lift 1. Take the knees down, lift the feet. Lift 3. Lift 2. Lift and hold, press the top knee up. Lift 3. Lift 2. Lift 1. Knees come down and feet come down. Press the top hand into the floor. Lift and lower the knees. There's 4. Here's 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Take the knees down. Top of the leg stays right where it is. Slide the bottom leg out. Can we take that top knee up and down with the foot on the bottom knee? Lift. Lift and hold. Take the top foot up. Fire hydrants. Here's 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Back to hip height. Stretch the toes forward. Lengthen them back. Swing and press them back. Swing forward and press one more time. Swing, press and hold. Toes come down. Lift them up and take them down and lift. Lower and lift. One more. Lower. Lift and hold. Pulse it up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold. Bottom leg comes up and down. Line it up with the top one. 6 and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take everything down. Bend those knees up. Give your hip a pat, and let's turn to our backs. As we turn to our backs, we'll bend our knees, heels line up with our sit bones, and let's rest our hands down to the sides of the mat. Flip your palms to face the ceiling. Spin the thumbs back toward the floor. Take a big breath in and exhale. Drop the shoulders, drop the belly, drop your lowest ribs, and nod the chin down toward the neck. Let's turn our head to look toward the screen and away. And we'll look back up to the ceiling. Rack your knees toward the screen and away. And bring them back up to the ceiling. Cross the far ankle over the near knee. Letting that knee come out to the side. We decide if we have a little slack left that we can lift up with. Whether that other foot is lifted or on the mat, rock back and forth, side to side. Opening up different parts of that hip and upper thigh. Coming back to center, we'll take our feet down, unwind, and repeat on the other side. Lengthen out. Lift if we've got room. And rock away from and toward that crossed over leg. Take a big breath in. Breathing right back to center, we'll unwind and hug those knees into the chest. Take a breath. As we breathe out, let's take our feet to the floor. We'll turn ourselves back toward hands and knees. We're going to make our way into a crouched position. So knees will be hovered off the floor. Toes are on the mat. Let's walk our hands back toward our feet. Once the heels are on our floor, we get our center of gravity over the front of the ankles before pressing ourselves nice and tall up to our feet. Take a moment to get your bearings. Shake your legs out a little bit. Give those shoulders a roll. And we'll meet in the center of our mat to finish. We're going to take those feet shoulder width apart. Toes turn out, heels turn toward each other. And let's soften up our knees. Picture a plumb line coming from the tailbone down toward the floor between the heels. Picture that same line drawing up through the crown of the head, lifting us all the way to the ceiling. Let's get that chin a little nod toward the neck, and we'll turn. Look over one shoulder and over the other. Face the screen, and let's breathe that head from side to side, lengthening out through the tops of the shoulders. Bring that head up nice and tall. We'll take our feet together. Let's close with a big breath in. Arms come out, up and overhead. Let's look to those fingertips as we press our palms together. And we breathe everything into center. Great job. Thank you for being here, all of you. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will look forward to seeing you again next time. Have a good one.
All right, thank you.